Every person should strive to become good at saving their money and planning for their future. It could appear easy to set investment goals, but really, achieving these goals is the challenging part. A good number of us have difficulties, either because we do not know where to start or because we do not know which approach would be most beneficial. It all starts with having a solid grasp of what aspects of your goal are most important. Do you want to learn these money strategies? Make sure to stick to this video till the end. Number 1. Know what is important to you. It is essential to have a clear picture of your objectives before beginning any kind of investment strategy. Do you, for instance, want to buy a house within the next year, pay off tuition costs, save up for retirement, or do you have another similar goal in mind? If this is the case, your primary focus should be on accumulating funds for the mentioned activity. Before you put any money into investments, use the acronym SMART to help you determine what your financial objectives are and whether or not investing will help you achieve those objectives. The objectives must be particular, measurable, attainable, reasonable, and time-based. Number 2. Sort your goals by time frame. You will know how long each goal will take once you have stated your goals using the SMART way. Now, you should divide your goals into 3 groups: short-term, medium-term, and long-term. Short-term goals are most likely to be accomplished in a year or less. Most of these goals call for very little or no money. The medium-term goals can be to pick up a new skill, establish a new business, pay a down payment on a house, or change one's work path. These goals are more time and money consuming to complete than short-term goals. The last group is long-term goals. When we discuss investments, many people's minds immediately go to this. Typically, the majority of us would consider retiring, setting aside money for a child's education, or taking control of our own future. Long-term goals typically take years to complete, but with the correct saving strategy, it is easy to reach the goal. Enjoying the video so far? Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. That will surely help the channel a lot. Number 3. Invest in your goals. The next step is to choose the best investment strategy. Money market funds or high-yielding savings account are what you should use for short-term objectives. Due to the often low interest rates in these kinds of accounts, you will not be making much extra money. However, you will always have access to your money. These accounts are ideal for objectives that will take a year or less to complete because they have very low investment risks. You might alternatively decide to save your money, but be aware that it will not grow in a savings account. Depending on your total risk tolerance, you might want to consider taking higher risks while investing in medium-term goals that could take 5 years or longer. You might use an exchange-traded fund or ETF to allocate tiny sums of your portfolio funds to a high-quality stock if you wish to generate high returns, because the high-quality stock can occasionally lose value. This would typically be best suited for those with a high risk tolerance. If you do not have a lot to lose, you might want to check into high-income savings account or money market funds. A new strategy is required for a long-term objective, like retirement. These objectives typically provide one plenty of time to make up for any losses experienced over the years because of the nature of the goals. The main justification for using stocks in your investments is this. Stock investments is as simple as it seems. To complete the task, you could utilize an online broker. To ensure that not everything is lost if one investment fails, I would suggest you to invest in a variety of securities through mutual funds or exchange-traded funds. You can also invest in a selection of equities. Please be careful because you occasionally find yourself paying fees that are excessive for that specific investment. Using target date funds is a simpler approach to go about it. This is a great option for retirement, investments, or education savings for your children. These funds are typically labeled with the year the goal is anticipated to be accomplished, and those funds are then invested with that time frame in mind. Number 4. Predetermine your risk. Generally speaking, your investment strategy will expand or contract based on your risk tolerance. You should think about the risk you are willing to take and the financial commitments you already have before making any investment. When you still have young children to take care of, you should not put yourself in a position where there is a great deal of risk. Groceries, meals, or home maintenance. Limiting your exposure to any one investment to no more than 4% to 5% of your portfolio will minimize your risk in half. Therefore, if you're willing to risk 4% of $100,000, you may expect to lose $5,000. Your maximum loss per investment is $25,000 thanks to this strategy. Number 5, diversify your portfolio. No one needs to remind you not to put all your eggs in one basket. Some sectors of investment can yield excellent returns. However, it is never a smart idea to put all of your money into a single venture, notwithstanding the excellent results you anticipate. It is possible that things will not always go smoothly. Having a portfolio with a diversity of investment is the key. Spread your investment dollars around in the hopes that one region may succeed, even if others fail. Factors such as the state of the economy, the level of interest rates, political instability, war, and even the weather can all have an effect on a portfolio. One way to protect your investments from the ups and downs of the market is to create a diversified investment portfolio. Number 6, creating an investing workflow. One of the most effective strategies to achieve financial success as an investor is to formulate a strategy. This is a breakdown of the steps you need to save and invest money, and it is also called a workflow sometimes. Without defined expectations, it will be harder to implement the workflow. You should have already prioritized your goals based on their completion dates and established your values before reaching this point. Everyone has their own set of specific life requirements, such as a unique retirement budget, family size, and standard of living expenses. It is an important takeaway from the preceding paragraph's overview of the investment workflow. You need to evaluate your specific situation by considering multiple factors and then making a choice. It is common practice to compare a plan that must be drastically altered or cost a lot of money with one that can be modified to fit new circumstances. Number 7, decide how much you want to invest. Sometimes we start working blindly without first determining how much money we will need to invest in what. To prevent anxiety, I understand that it is easier to do it without considering the cost. However, knowing how much to invest should always be the primary goal. You may calculate how much you need to save each year to fulfill your financial goals by determining when you will need the money. When it comes to retiring, the answer is usually as much as possible. You can reverse engineer the amount you have to save for more specified goals, such as education planning. It does not matter if you start saving at a child's birth or a year later. It doesn't matter when you start saving. But the key is that knowing how much to invest in. The time you get this done will put you one step ahead of others. Number 8, frequently invest in gold check-ins. The next step when you have begun investing is to keep a close watch on your progress toward your goals on a regular basis. Objectives can and should shift throughout time. This is why it is important to check occasionally and make adjustments as needed. Long-term and medium-term objectives tend to be shortened as time goes. At this step, it is time to reevaluate your investment approach. If we are being honest, investing everything in stocks makes no sense if you only have a year left to work before you retire. Maintaining a well-balanced portfolio is a sure bet if you regularly review your progress towards your objective and make adjustments as needed. The first step towards achieving your investment goals is defining them. Just carefully consider what you want to accomplish in the next few months, the next few years, and beyond, and start investing accordingly. Do not forget to include in how much money you will need to accomplish each objective so that you are never caught off guard. I think you will be okay if you exercise self-control and stay committed to your financial strategy. I can promise you a smooth ride. There will be bumps in the road, but if you follow the advice I have given you and keep your eyes on the prize, You will become an investing pro in no time. If you find this video of value, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and click that notification bell as well so you won't miss any of our future uploads. That's all we got for this video. Hope to see you in the next one.